All right, day 5 of this lovely little mini course on the shadow, 7 days of the shadow. So you are still here. I'm so proud of you. It's not easy work to do. It's not easy work to show up for. It's not easy to get into self-reflection. And most of us do find that COVID in this moment in time has forced us into self-reflection. It's not necessarily something we've wanted, but we don't have any choice to not look. So I'm grateful for those of you that are following this path, following this journey, and being willing to continue to look. So today I want to talk about a part of the shadow that can be very, very painful. We touched before on the feeling of invisibility, and so I want to dive deeper into that shadow of silence. And so much of what has been silenced in us, so much of our authentic expression and our authentic voice has been silenced. And as soon as something about us or within us gets silenced, we start to think there's something wrong with it. We start to think that person must have been right about us. It must be right that this part of us is getting silenced. And we allow the part of ourselves to get shut down, assuming that there's something wrong with it. So much about us that's actually our source of power, that's actually the parts of ourselves that are the best, the highest, the deepest, the most talented. Those are the parts that maybe someone was afraid of. That light shone too bright, too big. Someone felt jealous of, someone wanted to own it, someone might have wanted to possess it, someone might not have known what to do with it. Haven't we all had examples on both sides of a teacher who doesn't know what to do with your powerful energy, or doesn't know what to do with how you speak or how you speak up or how you feel about the world, and they condemn you for it? And haven't we also had other wonderful teachers and mentors who have said, no, that's the best part of you, let's bring that part forward, let's bring that part out, and how much freedom and permission it gives you? But for so much of what our biggest gifts are end up in the shadow because we have been told that they're threatening or there's something wrong with them. I remember being in a relationship with someone who was an incredible singer, one of the most beautiful voices I have ever heard in my life to this day. And I felt so grateful that I got to live with this man, because I would come up the stairs to the apartment and I could hear from 2 floors down him just singing his face off. He was so good at singing, and he would wake up in the morning before an audition and go, yeah, I'm good. Like he was just such a genius talent. And I always loved to sing. And I always had memories of my parents saying, should we tell her she's not really that good at singing? But I just loved it. I loved to sing so much. And I sang at the early part of my career. I started in musical theater, and that was my favorite thing, and I loved it so much. And at some point along the way, seeing his success, and he was on Broadway for many years, and really getting intimidated by what that level was and thinking I would never be up to that level, it kept me silent for a long time. And I remember getting to the point where I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for me. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna start doing like those open calls. And I'm not even gonna do it to book a role. I'm just gonna do it like to reclaim the part of myself that felt like it got lost. And so lovingly, and so with a desire to protect me from getting myself hurt and feeling rejected. I remember him saying to me, it's really competitive. I don't know if you should do it. I just don't know if you're ready. And that is all it took to put my voice back in the corner of silence. And again, that wasn't someone trying to cause harm. That was someone actually thinking they were saving me from harm. And something happened in that happens to so many of us, where we grow up in a home, or we're in a partnership, or there's something that we're in a relationship with someone or something, and something comes up inside of us and we're so excited about it and we can't wait to share it with the world, and it's taken us something to even bring it out of hiding. And when that first person or family member or circumstance or industry member says, I don't know, we put it right back into hiding. And we got to know what part of that is our responsibility, because I had a responsibility to my own desire to go, yeah, you're right, I might get hurt and I'm going to do it anyway, because that's my responsibility to my desire. It's my responsibility to not keep silent and hidden what matters to me. And I don't need the world to co-sign on my desires in order to justify bringing them forward. And then there's also looking at what parts of ourselves have we disowned because the world didn't agree with us? How many of us wanted to do something and said, I better not because my body's not exactly right, or my age isn't exactly right, or someone might laugh at me, or it might not go my way. So I would rather stay silent. I would rather silence my gifts from myself than face that possible hurt, possible rejection. But how much more does it hurt to keep what's best and good about us out of the light? So our creativity is meant to be expressed. And when we are not expressing, we are repressing. And when that creative energy, that powerful life force creative energy that's designed to go outside of ourselves and express on the planet, when it doesn't have anywhere to go, it implodes, it goes inside. And that's where we have so much undigested anger, so much undigested shame. That's when we start to feel sick. That's when we start to have a slow digestive tract. Literally, that's when we start to have that inner rumination, that inner critic that is so loud that it starts to cause so much irreparable harm that we have to allow what has been silenced to say no more. I'm going to give you a voice. I'm going to give you visibility because the pain of not is just too much. It's the feeling when there's parts of ourselves that are hidden and silenced. It's the feeling of a bereavement even when no one has died, because there's a part of ourselves that has died and we don't know how to mourn it because it doesn't look like there's anything to grieve. It just feels like there is. So just breathe that in if that feels true for you. It's very difficult when you feel deep anger or depression or lethargy or a lack of motivation or an apathy or an overall sense of what is the frickin' use when there's no inciting incident, but you feel the grief of it. We are sentient beings. We are feeling beings. Our creative power comes from our ability to feel. And so when our feelings and our creativity have been shut down, when we've been told it's not enough by ourselves or by others, when that part of ourselves has been silenced, it's as if we cease to exist. So the grief that we're feeling is our own death. Not just of this part of ourselves, but of the whole of ourselves. And so when we feel silenced, when we feel, whether by a well-meaning person or otherwise, when we feel that sense of being silenced, what we feel, what we internalize, the message that we receive in our cellular body is, I don't matter. I don't matter. And when we feel this energy of I don't matter, we get small. We try not to draw too much attention to ourselves. We hide our light, we hide our talents, we hide our gifts because what's the use? We people please. We go along with things that we don't really want to go along with. We avoid asserting our voice or opinion. People say, what do you think about that? I don't know, doesn't matter. I don't care where we go. I don't care what we do. We give up. We give up. How often do we want to write something, but we avoid it because we don't know if it'll amount to anything? We don't know if anyone will like it. We don't know if anyone will read it or judge it. How often do we want to make a really strong choice in the audition room and we water it down because we're not sure that the casting director will like it or say it's the right choice? And how often do we have something really important to say, or someone else does or says something that really hurts us, and we stay silent to avoid conflict and maintain peace? And so we abandon ourselves in order to just keep the status quo, keep everything okay. And every time that we're silent, we have abandoned ourselves to accommodate a perceived need outside of ourselves. And so our own need continues to not get met. Now the payoff of this, even though this is a really painful place to be, is we don't rock the boat, we're not disliked, we're not seen as difficult, we're never going to be called a diva or hard to get along with, but the cost is so much deeper because the cost is our own authentic truth. And the cost is I don't get to know what my own voice sounds like. The cost is I don't get to have my full expression, and so I don't get to know who I am. And knowing myself for who I am is more important than anything. And sometimes we lose relationships over it, and it's very painful. So when we're in this energy, it's probably pretty obvious what we become a magnet of. We become a magnet of all the loud mouths, all the people with the big voices and the big opinions. We become a magnet for all those that'll continue to allow us to feel silenced. We become a magnet of making the wrong choices in the audition room. Like, even when I make a choice, it's never the right one. We become a magnet for all the reasons to doubt ourselves and keep ourselves small. And we feel invisible. So let's integrate. Let's get rid of this part by bringing love to this part of our shadow, because we deserve to know our own voice. And when we do, we feel a power that is immense and maybe surprising and maybe even a little bit scary, but it is worth it. Nothing is more worth it. So I would love to invite you to close your eyes. And you can, if you like, take a really powerful stance with this. You can put your hands on your hips and sit up tall. And if you want, you can make a noise to claim your voice. You can inhale and then exhale. Ha, ha, ha. And throughout this practice, I'm even going to ask you to claim your own name. And you can call yourself by the name your parents have given you, or you can call yourself anything. You can call yourself by the name warrior. You can call yourself by the name goddess. You can call yourself by the name artist, powerful creator, the I am presence. But it's important to allow you to know yourself outside of the puppet you that's been playing the game of everyone else's expectations, and to know you as the authentic you, the powerful you that came here with something to say. So close your eyes, donning your very powerful stance. Feel yourself grounded, feel your posture tall, feel your voice open, your heart lifted, and inhale. And as you exhale, call yourself out loud by whatever name you want to call yourself. There is a part of you that doesn't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks. There is a part of you that is relentless in their desires. There is a part of you that is loud and proud and strong. There is a part of you that knows who they are and knows who they came to be. And I invite you, through the cloud of the ego, the cloud of the mind, to bring forth the visual of that you. And you might see yourself as your highest self. You might see yourself as an animal. You might see yourself as a light or a color. But allow yourself to see this powerful self, this opinionated, vocal, proud, and loud self. Be revealed to yourself. And ask, what do you have to say to me? What has been silenced in you that you now want to express? I am here and I am listening. Listen to this, your inner manifesto. All the things that have been silenced, All the parts of you that had something to say that were not seen or valued or heard, let them be heard now. Integrate the part of you that has been shut down and silenced and made invisible by being here and being witness. Breathe it in. Take it in. Let yourself be heard. And feel any energy that got created for you in that. That energy rising up through your body. That's your power. It's who you really are. That's the part that's been silenced because it's so big, so important, so powerful. Taking a deep breath, filling yourself with the fullness of your own expression. As you exhale once more, claiming your name, say it out loud. When you're ready, opening your eyes. And don't rush to leave this feeling of being present with yourself. For some of us, we may have never been this present with ourselves. And may this be a reminder of how important it is to feel your expression, to feel who you really are, to let that out. And it doesn't matter if the rest of the world hears you. It matters that you hear you. And as you start to hear you, as you start to claim the permission of your own voice and expression, the world will follow. And so I invite you, if you like, to cement in this exercise for yourself, to write down your manifesto, to write down what you heard, to write down what the silenced part of you wants you to integrate, wants you to bring forward, wants you to know about you. Write it down, read it daily, keep it alive for you, because you are the only one that can express it, and we need it.